All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Sitting here with me now, Mr. Michael Bogart. What's going on? How are you?
Good.
What's going on in the Christian world?
Well, I was just thinking, I have to follow Mike Reynolds pretty much every week, and it's.
Is it easier some weeks than others?
Some weeks it's easier, but I have to make this transition from California crime issues to Bible Christian kinds of things. So
it should be an easy time.
Well, maybe I should be grateful to be able to bounce off all the bad news. But anyway, we talked last week, if you remember, about Bible manuscripts and how some people are saying, you can't trust the Bible because we don't really know what the original manuscript said. And I think I made a good case that the manuscripts, the Hebrew and the Greek manuscripts we're working from for the Old and New Testaments are actually quite good, quite strong, and so we don't really have any problems with knowing what the original said. So today, if that's okay.
You brought some with you, I bet.
Well, I wanted to talk about Bible translation, and what I did bring with me are two translations hot off the press that were given to me by friends. This one is probably the first Polish translation of the New Testament in 100 years.
Did I tell you I used to have one in Pigeon Talk?
Yeah, well, yeah, they have all those. The translator actually gave me that. It's a brand new Polish translation of the New Testament. And I can't read a word of it. But
yeah.
I was glad to get that signed by the translator.
It doesn't have the English in the back and the Polish in the front?
No, it's all Polish. It's meant for Polish people. And this one here is what they call a Nahuatl. I mean, Nahuatl, there's about 2 million speakers. It's the language the Aztecs spoke before the Spaniards got there. There's still about 2 million Nahuatl, or sometimes they call it Mexica speakers in central Mexico. And I think I may have told you, I spent 5 years down in that area.
On the run.
Yeah, right. For a number of reasons, but I taught Bible and theology and stuff down in central Mexico for a number of years, and one of the things that they gave me was this brand new translation into that language. So it's I think it's kind of a good...
Look, it says muchas gracias right there. Want me to translate that for you?
Go for it, Chuck.
All right, so what's your point?
Well, my point is that, some people are saying, well, how do you get the Hebrew sense, the Hebrew meaning, or the Greek meaning of the New Testament into another language? Can you really do that? Some people argue that you can't really make a good translation from the Bible to any other language. And so my point is, people do it all the time, and we have very good translations in English of the Bible.
Shouldn't you be able to translate any language into another language?
That's exactly right. People make legal contracts across languages.
So that's a pretty weak fight.
Well, I would say that that's a very poor argument that people are trying to make. And so, when we talk about making a Bible translation, you have to take the biblical Hebrew of the Old Testament and the New Testament, the Koine Greek of the New Testament, and then you've got to bring it into whatever language you're making the translation for. And there's all sorts of choices that translators make. For example, we talked about reading level before. I mean, what reading level, what level are you going to put this on? Are you going to make it for a particular group of people, like in English? You've got American English, you've got British English, Australian. Who are you translating it for? Because each one of those has a particular vocabulary pool that they draw from.
You know what, Mike? You know what I'm more worried about? I'm more worried about the translation of how it really happened and how it might change a little bit as it goes on.
What do you mean change?
Well, the story. I mean, maybe it wasn't the sea that opened up. Maybe it was just a little creek.
Well, and
maybe if Jesus could make wine out of water, maybe they would have kept him around a little longer.
Well, Chuck, those are some interesting observations. I guess that's what you're supposed to say, right? But no, the whole issue is, you're talking about a completely different discussion. The Bible talks about the sea opening up. Okay, whether that really happened or not is another discussion. We're talking about how you take what the Bible says and bring it over into another language.
I completely understand what you're saying.
That.
I just hope we're on the same page about what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and I'd be happy to talk about that one, say in another segment or something like that.
Do you think it's possible that over time maybe the stories could change a little bit?
Well, I know that that's the way some stories change, but I also know, I personally believe the Bible's inspired. Okay, so I think that when God was working in the people who were writing the original documents, that he made sure that they got the full story and that it wasn't one of those telephone illustrations where you start off with one message and you end up with something completely different. I mean, that's my point of view. I know a lot of people share that point of view with me, and not everybody agrees, and I'm fully aware of that. But I don't think that the basic message has changed over time. Personal opinion.
All right. So these are the translating books right here.
Correct.
We can't read them because they're in different languages.
Yeah, unless you read those
But
languages.
that book over there we could read, right?
Well, this book is my little summary of the Bible called the 45-Minute Bible. It's no substitute for the original or for the real deal. But this is a nice segue into the scriptures. To read this book is to sort of get a background so that the Bible makes some sense.
When you started writing this book, you had in mind what you wanted to write as far as what were the questions most asked
Right.
about the Bible?
I have 30 FAQs at the back that, in my experience of teaching world religion for years at West Hills Community College, these are the questions that always come up, and I tried to address each one of those from my perspective.
Awesome. How's the new school year?
Actually, pretty good. I go down tonight to teach my Tuesday night class.
You got full classes?
Absolutely. I've got a short-term class in October that's got 15 on the waiting list. So
No kidding.
Absolutely full.
What are the age groups?
Everything from right out of high school to, say, 50 years old.
What's the majority? The younger people?
Yeah, the younger ones at West Hills. But we got a lot of Navy folks that are going back to school, from the base there. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Good year.
Hey, this is Michael Bogart. He's here with me every Wednesday. He has Aspect Ministries and 21stCenturyFaith.com. Go to his websites, look at his books. He's got some interesting ones like the 45-Minute Bible, Understanding Islam, Understanding the Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, and New Age.
New Age.
Right there, okay. Go there and send him a little note telling him you saw him right here on The Buzz. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stick around.